The following mnemonic applies to male finger Amaranthus reflexus as well as to over 60 other Amaranthus species, none of which are poisonous, and all can be used identically for medicinal and for edibility purposes. Remembering Amaranth, any one of the over 60 species, is easy as 1, 2, 3. 1 represents one finger, your index finger, your pointing finger. 2 represents 2 hands. And 3 rhymes with knee. For the first part, number 1, do like the plant is doing and point to the sun. This will show you 12 things. 1, 2, 3. 12 things. Your index finger, 1, pointing at the sun, tells you that part or all of the plant can appear with shades of golden yellow to a deep magenta, like the sun, and green, of course. It also tells you that there are dense, bristly clusters at the top of each plant. So tap the top of your finger and it represents the top of the plant and the flower cluster spike. You won't actually have to remember dense, bristly clusters at the top of the plant because that will actually be the first thing the plant shows you when you meet it in the field. As soon as you see the finger, that to you will represent 1, so you can proceed through the steps after the plant introduces itself to you. The leaves of Amaranthus are oval to elliptical to lance-shaped, so while still pointing at the sun, turn the knuckle of your thumb towards you. Now touch the tip of your thumb with the tip of your middle finger and look through the hole the 2 fingers make, like this. Now you can proceed to make various shapes. With the hole, or various shapes with your thumb and middle finger. The picture we see here is a lance shape. Oval. Between the 2 is elliptical. Notice the notch at the tip of the mnemonic leaf. This notch represents the younger leaves, for the younger leaves do have the tendency, or usually do, bear notches at the tip. The edges or margins of Amaranthus leaves are wavy or smooth, just as your fingers are. The leaves also show prominent veins. While looking through the hole of the leaf shapes, move your pinky and your ring finger so both cross through the middle of the leaf shapes that you're looking at. The pinky and ring finger should be evenly spaced below your middle finger. Notice how also you will see your fingers are underneath or are on the underside of the leaf, which will represent how much more raised the veins will be on the underside of the leaf. Your pinky and ring finger are also parallel to one another, which will remind you that the leaves or the leaf veins are parallel to one another. The leaves are on long leaf stalks or petioles. Your index finger, your pointing finger, will represent the long leaf stalks, or your forearm should help you remember long leaf stalks as well, one or the other, whichever helps you to remember. Leaf bearing long leaf stalks. Now, tap your elbow. This represents Amaranthus bearing a taproot. Always consider tapping the tip of your finger first, and then immediately always consider tapping the tip of your finger first, then immediately tapping your elbow. Doing this at the very beginning of the mnemonic defines the outline of your mnemonic plant. After that, you can fill in the middle. The middle being your forearm and your fingers. You've already been through the fingers. Your forearm will represent the stem. The stem is stout, like your forearm. The stem is rough or smooth, like a forearm. The stem is erect, like your forearm. And the stem can be hairy or not hairy, like a forearm. Now, bring your two hands together and interlock your fingers like you're praying. Then straighten your fingers out. This shows us, just like the step we're in, 2. This shows us 2 things, because this is the second step of the mnemonic. Now, as your fingers are extended, the hand on the right, or the fingers on your right hand, would represent the flower spikes. The fingers on your left hand would represent the stems, either the leaf stems or flower stalks, and the main stem. So this will remind us how the flower spikes grow or develop from where the leaf stalk meets the stem. What this also shows us in step 2 is 2 hands. The first thing was just explained. The second thing that it shows us is that the leaves alternate along the stem, just as your fingers are alternating. The third thing, or the third step of this mnemonic, has you getting ready to kneel like you're praying. 3, third step, 3 rhymes with knee. And this shows us 3 things. The first thing that it shows us is the seed description, because before you kneel on the ground, naturally you're going to want to look for a spot that's clean and as smooth as possible. The ground you're looking at represents the seed color, which can be brown, dark brown to black. Looking for a spot that's as clean or shiny as possible. Shiny, clean, shiny is one of the characteristics of the seeds. They're glossy and shiny. And smooth. When you're beginning to kneel down on the ground, you want to look for a place that's clean and as shiny as or smooth as possible. Smooth is the third characteristic of Amaranthus seeds. Now, when you're looking for a clean and smooth place to kneel, if you just happen to see something spiny on the ground, because there are actually spines that do appear on some species of amaranth. Remember that spines of 2 are good for you, but spines of 3, not good for the knee. 3 rhymes with knee, and you actually would not want to have a 3 which is applied to the knee. You don't want that. Spines of 3, not good for the knee. This is what the spines of 3 look like. For Amaranthus can sometimes be confused with the cockleburr. Just as a side note, the cockleburr bears leaves which are not ovate, lance, or elliptical. They bear leaves which look more like a goose foot. This is what the spines of 2, good for you. Spines of 3, not good for the knee. Spines of 2, these spines can be removed if they're come upon. They do appear, as I've said earlier, on the stems of some amaranth species, one particularly, Amaranthus spinus. But again, they're edible. Now that the ground inspection is complete, you can kneel. And while doing so, the last thing this mnemonic will tell us is that the Amaranthus grows to a height of 3, which is 1 knee, to 6, which will be 2 knees, feet tall. Amaranthus grows to 3 to 6 feet tall. Thank you for watching.